"When is Dad coming home?" Cori asked. Hope looked across the kitchen to where her 13-year-old daughter sat at the table, working on a Sudoku puzzle and waiting for the spaghetti her mother had not yet put together. The sauce was simmering, but Hope was reluctant to start boiling the noodles until she heard from her husband, Doug. As a reporter, Doug's job sometimes took him far from Columbus. His current crusade was against a drug gang that imported and sold fentanyl. As her husband had explained, the gang had a lot of cash that they used to buy dirty local police and politicians who would look the other way. Doug, like the bloodhound he was, had sniffed out the corruption and chased the trail. He didn't worry much about the danger. He always shrugged it off. Most of the thugs and officials he dealt with talked a tough game, but rarely acted on their threats, since going to prison for taking a bribe was nothing compared to going to prison for murder. Hope glanced at her watch. Her husband wasn't that late. In fact, he wasn't really late at all. She'd hold off on the noodles until he called or texted, because he always called or texted. "He'll be home in a little bit," Hope told Cori. "He's working." "He's always working," Cori frowned. "He's supposed to help me with my science project." "I can help you with it," Hope offered. "Like you did last year?" Cori giggled. "It exploded, remember?" Hope did remember. The explosion was spectacular. Only it wasn't supposed to happen. She didn't want to take credit for the explosion, but it really was her fault. Of course, that was the chance Cori took when she asked her mother, the social studies teacher, to help on a science project. That was a simple mistake of adding too much baking soda. The corners of Hope's mouth turned up. "I misread the instructions." "And that's why I'll wait for Dad," Cori said with a big grin. Hope couldn't fault her daughter's logic. Why trust Mom when Dad was a seriously better scientist? "Would you watch the sauce pot?" Hope asked. "It's simmering. Turn it down if it starts to splutter." "All right." Cori was working on a math problem. "I'm going to grade some tests in my office. When Dad gets home, come get me." "Yep." Hope retreated to her first-floor office, which used to be a den. Doug's office was on the second floor in the small bedroom. They knew it was better that they didn't share a space. Hope's office smelled of lilac and featured 2 large windows that let in the sunlight, even in the dead of winter. Doug had put a large whiteboard partially over his window, sending the room into near twilight, even on bright days.